everybody. It's been a while since I've been able to be on and do a video, so I'm glad to have an opportunity to do that at the present moment. Things have been a little hectic on this end. I'm sure it's been a little hectic on everybody's end, what with the present state of affairs and things along those lines. And of course, I'm here today to talk to you about the full moon in Vishakha Nakshatra. Vishakha Nakshatra is symbolized by an archway. And what is an archway? An archway is a threshold. It's a portal between one thing and another. On my end, I've been having my own little portal and my own set of changes, as you're likely seeing as I'm doing this video. I'm using my phone camera rather than using my desktop camera. I decided I was going to shift operating systems on my computer, and so I'm having to use a new setup while I'm doing that. It's good changes. Changes have been a long time coming, and so I'm glad I did it, but kind of adjusting to a new way of doing things. So hope this one comes out okay, right? So in everybody's life, we're kind of in a position right now where we're hovering on a threshold, and there's confusion. There's changes that you feel that you are ready to make and that you need to make, and inside of you, a very large part is going, yeah, I'm ready to commit to this. I'm ready to take that big step. But you know that when you take that big step, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. It's kind of like when you go to paint your wall and you're using a different color. Once you put that little bit of paint on, you can't really turn back without getting out another can of the old paint, and chances are when you do that, it's not going to match anyway, and you'll have to repaint everything anyhow. So once you start those changes in motion, well, there's no turning back, and you're not sure what's coming down the line when you make those particular changes. And so it's kind of got you going, do I or don't I, in one area of your life or another? And what area of your life might that be? That's going to be determined partially by where this particular full moon falls and all the planets that are interacting with this particular full moon, most especially the Sun and Mercury, which we'll talk about here within a little bit. But if you'd like a little bit more information on that, I do offer several different levels of astrological service, which are presently being offered at a sliding scale rate of fees, and I'm generally offering a consultation per week, or a type of consultation per week on a donation basis. So if you're interested in scheduling with me, you can do that through the link that you see above. So as you're hovering on that threshold, it's no surprise that you're confused. But if you stay put with what is currently in existence, frustration is only going to build. Stress is going to build. So that part of you that's wavering, that part of you that's going, am I all the way in or am I all the way out? And that part of you that's going, since I don't know if I'm all the way in or all the way out, is kind of going, well, I'm going to be part of the way in and I'm going to be part of the way out. But imagine like if you're getting ready to jump in a swimming pool, right? You can't just keep your toes dipped in the pool forever. You've got to kind of go in or not, right? But if you stay put with the not side of things, you're not going to be able, you're going to get hot, right? You're going to get frustrated. And so sometimes when you're wanting relief, you have to take a chance, right? That water might be too cold. Well, it might be, but you might acclimate to it eventually. And I think that that's the type of process that you're dealing with, that we're all dealing with in one area of life or another. The only problem is you don't feel that you have the stamina to stay with the situation that's there. And that's right. You know, that's a good thing, because when we get worn out of something, when something no longer serves our life, well, it's time to commit to a change. But then again, you're not sure if you have the stamina for what lies ahead of you, right? But there comes a certain point where you have to pick up the pieces and move forward and take the necessary steps. As we're looking at this particular full moon, Venus is also involved in the equation using a concept called final dispositorship. You know, as the moon's in Vishakha, connected with Jupiter. Jupiter is in Uttada Ashada, connected to the Sun. Sun's in Bharani, which is connected to Venus, if you want to know the full thread of things for people who are geeks like me, who like knowing those things, right? So Venus's influence upon the situation is making it so that we're recognizing in one area of our life or another that we may have to move forward. And part of moving forward may mean picking up the pieces and committing to what lies ahead. Here's an interesting concept. When I'm putting together these particular videos for you, I work with a lot of different techniques, but obviously one of the things I work with within that concept are aspects. And so at the time of the full moon, obviously the full moon is a sun-moon opposition, and we've also got Mercury in on the mix. So with the moon being in Vishakha Nakshatra is a Brahma Nakshatra. For those of you who aren't familiar, Brahma is the creator deity, right? He relates to creative energy. He's the progenitor of everything in existence, right? The sun in Bharani Nakshatra is in a Vishnu Nakshatra. Okay, Vishnu is that aspect of God that permeates all things and sustains them. Whereas Mercury, being in Krittika Nakshatra, is in a Shiva Nakshatra. So we have this energy of this desire to create something and dealing with something else that, well, is no longer going to be able to be sustained, but at the same time there's concern as to whether with the path that you might choose to move forward on in the future, if that's going to be sustainable. So what's the best way to deal with this particular energy? It seems like you're being asked to commit. Like I said before, you can't hover on the threshold forever. At some point, it requires radical action on your part. And so one part of you goes, yeah, but what is that going to be like? Well, Mercury's influence on the situation seems to be indicating that you can think on your feet with this particular set of circumstances. You can apply your skills in order to do what needs to be done, as long as you pay attention, right? So those things that are making you feel perhaps reluctant to take action, see what you can do about those, right? See if there's a way you can work with the things that you're dealing with in order to make it so that those are no longer a concern, right? Krittika Nakshatra tends to have that particular process. Interestingly enough, Vishakha Nakshatra does as well. They're both Mridu, Tikshna, Mrisha, and Siddharana Nakshatras. With those, there's this process of feeling like the balance is very delicate. The balance is very delicate, not certain of the way things are, but generally having to get on with things and take action in one particular area or another. And when it boils down to the moon and Mercury, they're both the Vaishya planets, which means acquiring one thing and getting rid of something else. But with the moon being in a Sudra Nakshatra and Mercury, another Vaishya planet, being in a Vaishya Nakshatra, the indication seems to be one of whether you're going to stay subservient to a situation that isn't working for you, right? Whether you're going to find the nobility or the strength or the power with the sun in a Kshatriya Nakshatra to take the next necessary steps. You need to trust on one level that you can handle this. You can get the job done. You can do whatever as is necessary. So inside of your mind, you might be thinking, when am I going to do this? If not now, when? If I'm not going to make this change or make this shift or make this commitment, or on the larger scale of life with the global situation, if we're not going to move forward and have a condition of progress, whatever progress means, and that's not me coming down one side of the fence or another, that's just the messenger. So don't shoot the messenger, because he's just delivering a message to the planet and it's not really weighted in one area or another. But, you know, obviously the situation that we're dealing with at large in the world is a situation where something is going to need to move and something is going to need to shift soon. On each of our personal situations, or I should say in each of our personal situations, we're dealing with something very similar. So we can hold back, but when holding back is felt to no longer be prudent, then it becomes necessary to take steps in order to create a change. So it might as well be now, at least on the level of your personal situation, to begin to take the steps to create those changes, whatever those steps might indicate. And if you could use a little bit of help in figuring out what those particular steps might need to be for your individual situation, as mentioned before, I do offer several different levels of astrological service. These are available through the services page, which you will see on my website, with sliding scale rates available for each of the consultations. That's going to do it for this look at the full moon in Vishakha Nakshatra, which takes place on the 7th of May, 2020. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.